Blessed be Yahuwah who daily loads us with his benefits, the Elohim of our salvation, the source of our strength, the Elohim that teaches us true wisdom out of his divine law for our good. Hallelujah. Please forgive the pronunciation of some of the words, because it is an AI that reads to you. Shalom be to you, beloved ones of the Most High Elohim. Note, in my videos I use the translation of certain names because I know not everyone knows the Hebrew terms and meaning of words. While I use the transliteration of our Creator and His Son and certain other words, because it breaks the commandments, or because of pagan influence and its meaning. May Yahuwah continue to strengthen you and guide you through the struggles of life that we may be overcomers to rejoice in His splendor. The ancient book of Gad the Seer. Referenced in 1 Chronicles chapter 29 verse 29. Chapter 1. The first vision. In the 31st year of King David's reign in Jerusalem, which is the 38th year of David's reign, the word of Yahuwah came to Gad the seer in the month of Uar, near the stream of the Kidron valley, saying, Thus says Yahuwah, Go, be courageous and stand in the midst of the stream, and cry in a great voice. Tarry and hasten, tarry and hasten, tarry and hasten, for there is still a vision for the son of Jesse. And during the cry face the eastern gate, on the east side of the city, and stretch forth your hands toward heaven. And I did exactly what I had been commanded to do. Vision of the donkey and camel. And it came to pass when I finished crying out, I opened my eyes and saw a yoke of oxen, led by a donkey and a camel. Coming up from the Kidron stream, the donkey on the right side of the yoke, and the camel on the left. The four mixtures. And a great voice like the roll of thunder was following them, crying with a bitter voice. Seer, 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 these are four mixtures that confuse the people of Yahuwah. For the impure and the pure have been mixed, and then impurity took control over purity, a mixture from Seer. Edom to rule over them. To increase power over, and betray, righteous doer. To destroy set-apartness, to crown wickedness, to set up impure matters in the guise of purity. The moon kingdom. And after the voice a great quake occurred that shook over the impurity, and blew the donkey, and the camel into the moon with a stormy wind. And the moon was opened and looked like a bow, a semicircle, and both her points reached toward the ground. The vision of Elohim. And lo, the sun came out of heaven in the shape of a man, with a crown on his head, carrying over his right shoulder a lamb, despised and rejected. And on the crown on his head 3 shepherds are seen, shackled with 12 shackles. And these shackles were of gold, plated with silver. Messiah's death. And the voice of the Lamb was heard, great and dreadful, like the voice of a lion roaring over his prey. Woe unto me! Woe unto me! Woe unto me! My image. Messiah has been diminished, my refuge has been lost. My lot and destiny has turned me over to my spoilers, and I was defiled until evening by the touch of impurity. Messiah's heart. And it came to pass when the voice of the Lamb ceased speaking, lo, a man dressed in linen came with 3 vine branches, and 12 palms in his hand. And he took the lamb from the hand of the Son, and put the crown on his head, and the vine branches and palms on his heart. And the man, dressed in linen, cried like a ram's horn, saying, What are you doing here, impurity, and how did you get here, impurity? That you have carved yourself a place to combine impurity with my covenant that I have set with the vine branches and palms. Elohim's judgment on impurity. And I heard the Lamb's shepherd saying, There is a place with me for the pure, but not for the impure. For I am a set apart Elohim, and I do not want the impure, I only want the pure. Even though I created them both, and my eyes are equally on them both. But there is an advantage to the abundance of purity over the abundance of impurity. Just like there is an advantage of a man over a shadow. For the shadow does not exist without man, and only by the man's existence is the shadow given to the tired and exhausted. This applies in the same way to the pure and impure. For all gates of intelligence are turned around since the death of the 8 branches of the vine, as is found in words of righteousness in the true book. But because of the wanderings of the sheep, their rest and divisions, intelligence is stopped up until I do greatly in keeping favor. The Messiah's kingdom. I saw that impurity was driven from the moon, and was given over to a consuming wrath, ground into fine dust and blown away by the daily wind. And the day burns as a furnace to remove impurity and to erase the transgressions. And the Lamb was put on the moon forever and ever. And the Lamb took from the pure the impurity that had been mixed with them, and brought it as a peace offering sacrifice on the altar before the Almighty, jealous Yahuwah of hosts. The song of the redeemed. And I heard those singing the song of the Lamb saying, I shall give thanks unto you, O Yahuwah, for though you were angry with me you forgave. For Yahuwah is my strength and song, and he is become my Redeemer. I will sing unto Yahuwah, for he is highly exalted, he hath thrown the horse and his rider into the sea of reeds. Arise intelligence, arise power, arise kingship. Arise, majesty and splendor, arise help of Yahuwah. For Elohim has saved one who had taken away, and obliterated the impurity from the earth. He fought my fight, and brought into the light my righteousness by his help. My help comes from Yahuwah, who made heaven and earth. Truly, who is like you, majestic in set apartness, but not in impurity? For you are great over all, raised over all, you spoke and acted. For you declared the end from the beginning, and you sealed everything by your words, and turned my heart, and convicted me. For your seal is upon me, my sovereign, and these are 3 vine branches, and 12 palms that are on my heart. You magnified me, you erased the vanity of fearing man, and you gave me a pure heart forever. For that I will praise you at all times, and thank you among the nations. For you have greatly redeemed me for my king, and showed favor to the Messiah, David's seed forever and ever. Elohim and his son. And I heard a voice crying from heaven saying, You are my son, you are my firstborn, you are my firstfruits. Haven't I brought you up from the brook of Egypt wholeheartedly to be my daily delight? But you have put away my gifts and dressed up the impure with the pure, and that is why all these things have happened to you. And who is like unto you among all the creatures on earth? For they lived in your shadow, and by your wounds they were healed. For that, consider well that which is before you. Because you have fulfilled the words of the shepherd all the days. You have been in the sun, and you did not leave them, therefore all this honor shall be yours. And I, Gad, son of Ahimelech of the Jabes family, of the tribe of Judah, son of Israel, Yashar'al, was amazed by the vision, and could not settle my spirit. The Moloch angel instructs Gad. And the one dressed in linen came down to me, and touched me, saying, Write these words and seal them with the seal of truth, for I am who I am is my name. And with my name you shall bless the whole house of Yashar'al, for they are of a true seed. In a little while you shall go, and be quietly gathered to your fathers. But at the end of days you shall see with your own eyes all these things, not as a vision, but in reality. For in those days they shall not be called Jacob, but Yashar'al, for no iniquity will be found in their remnant, for they will belong entirely to Yahuwah. And these words will restore your life and spirit. And this shall be the sign unto you. When you enter the town, you will find my servant David, while he is reading these words from the book of covenant. And yet for all that, when they are in the land of their enemies, I will not reject them. Neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am Yahuwah their Elohim. And you shall tell him about the scene you have just seen, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. Gad tells David his vision. And it came to pass, when I came to the house of David, the man of Elohim, I found him as the one dressed in linen had said, and I told him of all my visions. Then David spoke the words of this song unto Yahuwah, saying, I love you, O Yahuwah my strength. And to me he said, Yahuwah has blessed you, and has not removed his covenant from you, for he is true, and his word is true, and his seal is true. Chapter 2. The second vision, the regathering. After these true things, I had a vision from Elohim saying, set your face eastward, northward, southward, and westward. And whistle with your mouth, as a bird whistles to its young, and say, four corners of the earth, listen to the word of Yahuwah. Thus says Yahuwah, who sits and dwells over the cherubim, give, give, give. Take out, take out, take out my seed that I have sown in you, for the time for the seed has come. For yet a little while I shall collect my seed on my threshing floor. And the threshing floor will be set apart, and impure seed will not be found there. Prior to those days my seed was mixed with lentils and barley, and fitches, beans and gourds. Millennial kingdom. And in the end of days the sower shall be true, and the seed shall be true, and from the seed all the land will be blessed. Be joyful and glad, remnant of Judah, and rejected of Yashar'al, for salvation is with Yahuwah. As you shall be a curse and blasphemy to all the families of the earth, so shall you be a blessing and favor forever. At that time no cursed, or unrighteous people will be found among you. For everyone will join you in the covenant, the law, testimonies, statutes, and ordinances. And you and they shall have one Elohim, one covenant, one law, one language, for all shall speak in the language of Abarit. Hebrew, the set-apart language. Blessed are you, O Yashar'al, who is like unto you. A people saved by Yahuwah, for he will go before you to fight your wars with your enemies. Replacement theology, Edom and Rome. Woe to you, O Edom that sits in the land of Kittim in the north of the sea. For your destroyers will emerge from a terrible nation. They will not even leave you a remnant. For you have said, I sit on high, and only I have a covenant with the Almighty of mighty ones. For Yahuwah chose me instead of his set-apart people, for he abhorred them. And his former people, despised and rejected, did not truly know Yahuwah the Father, because they did not know his image the Son. We are truly wise and intelligent, we know Yahuwah and his law, we know his image the Son and presence the set-apart Spirit. But thus says Yahuwah, because you rose up in pride to brag about the Almighty of mighty ones, know that you will perish in your conceitedness. For why would you put confidence in man whose life is like a vapor, which begins in the morning, and is gone by noonday, placing him to sit beside Elohim? For it is not you whom I knew formerly, and where is the bill of divorce of my people that you said would be a prey? Show it to me. Judgment of Rome. Your corpses will fall among my people. O jealous Yahuwah, come out of your place and smite Edom, consume them. Come to Zarephath, come to Sepharet, come to Ashkenaz, come to Garmania. They shall come and fall in the lowest pit, in destruction, and in the shadow of death. For your mouth will fail you, and no one will help you. Michael stands up. At the end of days Michael the great prince will stand up in war like a whirlwind against Samael the prince of this world, to put him under his feet. In the wind of Yahuwah, and it shall be eaten up. For Yahuwah has spoken it. Millennial kingdom. At the end of days the robbed will overcome the robber, and the weak, the strong truly and in righteousness. Your Elohim is your Savior, O Yashar'al. With him you will be saved, for he is a merciful Elohim. He will not abandon you. For you shall keep on doing all that I commanded you in the law of Moses my servant. Chapter 3. The Moabite. When the feast of Passover came on the 15th of the first month, a Moabite shepherd came to David and talked with him, saying, My master, the king, you have known that I your servant have been loyal to Yashar'al from my youth. And now take me away from dwelling among uncircumcised people, and circumcise the flesh of my foreskin to take away my reproach, so that I can sit among your people. And David said, Yahuwah does not want your people, and he commanded, an Ammonite, or a Moabite shall not enter into the assembly of Yahuwah forever. Deuteronomy chapter 23 verse 3. And we cannot seek your peace nor your prosperity, but how can I help you today? The servant answered, Is it not true that Ruth was of our people, and you are one of her children and descendants? And Yahuwah has chosen you and your descendants forever. Then said he, You have given a convincing argument. Stand here with me to ask from the mouth of my sovereign. And David asked Yahuwah about the statement of the Moabite servant. And David said, O sovereign Yahuwah of hosts, teach me wondrous things out of your law so that I may know how to rule for this servant, and what should be done with him. And Yahuwah said to Nathan the prophet, Go to David my servant, and tell him the message that I tell you. And Nathan went to David to his chambers, saying, This is what Yahuwah of hosts says. I have heard your prayer, so tell the Moabite, You are a Moabite man, not a Moabite woman. For I never said, a Moabite woman, and Ammonite woman, because their women and daughters belong to Yahuwah. However, you are cursed by Yahuwah and forbidden to enter Yahuwah's assembly. When the Moabite heard the message of Yahuwah, he cried out and exclaimed, I am forbidden from entering the assembly of Yahuwah. And the king took him and appointed him a shepherd among David's shepherds, and he was there until the 3rd year of the reign of King Solomon. Then he died. And he had a daughter whose name was Sephirah. She had a beautiful form, and was very fair to look upon. King Solomon took her to be his concubine, and she found mercy and favor in his sight more than all the other concubines. And she became the chief of the concubines' residence. And this became the statute in Yashar'al forever. Chapter 4. David, the wise judge. In those days a man from Bethlehem, the city of David, went to Jerusalem to pay the vow which he had vowed unto Yahuwah. His name was Zabad the Pari, and he was of the family of the Perizzites. Zabad's father was very sick, even unto the point of death, so Zabad vowed, When Yahuwah heals my father of his sickness, I will weigh out 2 talents of silver and give them to the house of Yahuwah into the hand of King David. And it came to pass, when he was at the house of the shepherds along the way, he lost the pouch with the money in it, and he was upset. He came to the city of Jerusalem, into the inner city, and he wrote on all the gates these words, Anyone who finds a lost pouch with 2 talents of silver and brings it to me, I will give him a talent of silver as a reward. After a while, a man from the tribe of Dan came and had in his hand the pouch with the silver talents that he found along the way, and he gave it to the owner of the pouch. And the Danite said to Zabad, Give me the talent of silver as you promised. And the Zabad said, No, there were actually 3 talents in my pouch, and you have already stolen 1 talent. I mistakenly wrote down the wrong number. So both of them came and stood before the king. And the king said to the Zabad, Swear unto me by Yahuwah, that you truly had 3 talents of silver in your pouch. And Zabad swore to him by Yahuwah. And the king continued, saying to the Danite, Swear unto me by Yahuwah that you only found 2 talents of silver the pouch. And he swore to him by Yahuwah. And David said to Zabad, Give the pouch with the talents back to the Danite, because this is his money that Yahuwah has given to him by chance. Now, go and write on the city gates, Whoever finds the pouch with 3 talents should bring it to me, because this is not your pouch. And David took the pouch with the talents of silver from the hand of the Zabad, and gave it to the Danite. And the Danite bowed his head and prostrated himself to the earth and said, Long live my master, King David, forever. And all Yashar'al heard of this judgment, and they marveled over David and were overjoyed, because they saw that he was full of the wisdom of Elohim. Chapter 5. The fire Moloch, angel, and the Philistines. All the Philistines assembled themselves together to fight against Yashar'al. There were so many multitudes of Philistines that they could not be numbered. And David was greatly distressed, because he was afraid of the Philistines. And Yahuwah said to Gad, Go and tell David my servant, Do not be worried about these uncircumcised Philistines, because tomorrow I will give them, and those other oppressors with them, into your hand. And David said to Gad, I am not worthy of all the mercies that Yahuwah has shown to me, but blessed be the name of Yahuwah forever and ever. That night, a fire Moloch came from heaven with his drawn sword in his hand. And he attacked the camp of the uncircumcised. It was such a great slaughter that none of them were left alive. And it came to pass the next morning they came to David, saying, Behold, all the Philistines have been killed by someone who rose up against them, not a single one of them was left alive. And David raised his voice and said, Now I know that nothing can hinder Yahuwah. He can save us from many or few, and his salvation can be in a blink of an eye. And he said, Blessed are you, O Yahuwah, who has been taking revenge for us on our enemies. And he set up a pillar, and called it the pillar of revenge unto this day. Chapter 6. David's covenant. Yahuwah said to Gad, Go tell David my servant. Thus says Yahuwah, Let not the mighty man esteem in his might. But let him that esteem in this, that my help is with him. Then you should go and fear not, for Yahuwah is with you. And Gad came and told David what Yahuwah had said. And David said to Gad, I have known the help of Yahuwah from my youth. For who struck down the lion and the bear? Who destroyed the Philistines? Who destroyed my enemies? Was it not by the help of Elohim? And when Yahuwah heard that, he was very pleased with David's heart. And he said, Because David has acknowledged my help instead of his own esteem, my help will dwell in the house of David forever. And Gad told David what Yahuwah said. And David bowed down before Yahuwah and said, Blessed be Yahuwah, for I have found favor in his eyes. Chapter 7. David's sin of counting. And again the anger of Yahuwah was kindled against Yashar'al. And he moved Satan against David, saying, Go, number Yashar'al and Judah, to bring them the evil he spoke through Samuel the seer. And the king said to Job the captain, and to the princes of the people, Go now through all the tribes of Yashar'al from Dan even to Beersheba, and number the people, and bring me word that I may know the sum of them. And Job said unto the king, May Yahuwah add unto the people how many soever they may be 100-fold. And may the eyes of Yahuwah or Elohim watch over them, but my master the king, are they not all my master's servants? Why does my master require this thing? And why should it be a cause of trespass unto Yashar'al? For Yahuwah has said, which cannot be numbered for the multitude. Notwithstanding, the king's word prevailed against Job, and against the captains of the host. And Job and the captains of the host went from the presence of the king to number the people of Yashar'al. And they passed over the Jordan, and camped in Arir, south of the town in the middle of the river of Gad, and toward Jazer. And they came to Gilead, and then to the land of the Hittites to Cach, and they came to Dan and Enan, and round about to Zidon. And they came to the stronghold of Tyre, and to all the cities of the Hivites and the Canaanites. And they went out to the south of Judah to Beersheba. So when they had gone through all the land, they came to Jerusalem at the end of 9 months and 20 days. But Job did not number Levi and Benjamin, for the king's word was abominable to Job. And Job gave up the sum of the number of the people unto David. And all they of Yashar'al were 800,000 valiant men, and 300,000 men that drew a sword. And in Judah there were 470,000 valiant men, and 30,000 men that drew a sword. And Yahuwah Elohim was displeased with this act of Yashar'al, and he sent Gad the seer to David, saying, Thus said Yahuwah, I am the king of Yashar'al, and I am their portion. I am their avenger, I am their fortress and might, and you know that it is not with a sword, or a spear that I will save. And not with a man of valiance that draws a sword, for this is the portion of the heathens that stand on their might, and many warriors. But you are not like that, for I am a lone warrior, and there is no one with me. Why would you do this evil to number your people? For that I will strike Yashar'al, so that you will know that I am Yahuwah in the midst of the earth. And David's heart was grieved after that. And David said unto Yahuwah, I have sinned greatly in what I have done. But now, O Yahuwah, I beg you, take away the iniquity of your servant, for I have acted very foolishly. And David rose up in the morning, and the word of Yahuwah had already come to Gad the prophet, David's seer, saying, Go, and say unto David, Thus says Yahuwah, I offer you 3 things, choose one of them that I may do it unto you. So Gad came to David and told him, and said unto him, Shall 4 years of famine come unto the land of Yashar'al, and 3 years in the land of Judah? Or will you flee 3 months before your foes, while they pursue you, while the sword of your enemies overtake you? Or shall there be 3 days of the sword of Yahuwah, which is pestilence in your land, and the Molech Yahuwah destroying throughout all the land of Yashar'al? Now advise yourself, and decide what answer I shall return to him who sent me. And David said unto Gad, I am in a great strait. Let me fall, and let us fall now, into the hand of Yahuwah, for his mercies are great, and let me not fall into the hand of man. So Yahuwah sent a pestilence upon Yashar'al from the morning even to the time appointed. And there died of the people from Dan even to Beersheba 70,000 men. And Elohim sent in Moloch unto Jerusalem to destroy it, and as he was destroying it, Yahuwah beheld, and he repented him of the evil and said to the Moloch that was destroying the people, It is enough, now stay your hand. And the Moloch of Yahuwah was standing by the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. And David lifted up his eyes, and saw the Moloch of Yahuwah standing between the heavens and the earth, having a drawn sword in his hand stretched out over Jerusalem. And David and the elders, who were clothed in sackcloth, fell upon their faces. And David said unto Elohim, Is it not I that commanded the people to be numbered? Even I it is that have sinned and acted wickedly, but these sheep, what have they done? O Yahuwah my Elohim, let your hand be against me and against my father's house, but not against your people that they should be plagued. Shall not the judge of all the earth do justice? And Yahuwah said, They incited Satan against you to number them, saying thus, We will be like all the nations, but I am Elohim of justice. May I return their high heart into their own bosoms. For a broken or a contrite heart, I shall not despise forever. And the Moloch of Yahuwah told Gad to tell David that David should go up and rear an altar unto Yahuwah on the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. And David went up according to the words of Gad which he spoke in the name of Yahuwah. And Ornan was looking, and he saw the king and his 4 sons with him. Now Ornan was threshing wheat. And Ornan looked and saw David, and he went out of the threshing floor, and bowed down to David with his face to the ground. Then David said to Ornan, Sell me the place of this threshing floor, that I may build an altar therein unto Yahuwah. You shall sell it to me for the full price, that the plague may be stayed from the people. And Ornan said unto David, Take it, and let my master the king do that which is good in his eyes. Lo, I give the oxen also for burnt offering, and the threshing instruments for wood, and the wheat for the meal offering, I give it all. And King David said to Ornan, No, but I will verily buy it for the full price. For I will not take that which is yours for Yahuwah, nor offer a burnt offering without paying for it. So David gave Ornan for the place 600 shekels of gold and for the cattle 50 shekels of silver by weight. And David built there an altar unto Yahuwah and offered burnt offerings and peace offerings and called upon Yahuwah. And he answered him from heaven by fire upon the altar of burnt offering. And Yahuwah commanded the Moloch, and he put his sword back into the sheath thereof, and the plague was stayed from Yashar'al. At that time when David saw that Yahuwah had answered him in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite, and he did not despise him, then he sacrificed there unto Yahuwah for the rest of his life. For David would no longer go and sacrifice unto Yahuwah in the high place at Gibeon, where there was an altar unto Yahuwah and a tabernacle which Moses made. For he was terrified and weakened because of the sword of the Moloch of Yahuwah that he had seen. Chapter 8. David's sermon. Yahuwah appeared unto David when he was old and said to him, Behold, I am with you, and I am your Elohim, and behold, my covenant is with you. Do not be afraid nor discouraged, because your Elohim is your helper. And David bowed down to Yahuwah and rejoiced in his heart. And Yahuwah said, Speak these words in my name to the people, and make sure they understand and obey so that they will live. If they do, I will no longer be angry with them. And Yahuwah put his words in his mouth. Then David assembled all Yashar'al in Jerusalem, and he made a pulpit of wood for himself, and he stood upon it and addressed all the people. He opened his mouth and said, David's teaching. Hear, O Yashar'al, your Elohim and my Elohim is one, the only one and unique. There is no one like his individuality. He is hidden from everyone, he always has been and always will be eternal. He fills his creation, but his creation does not fill him. He sees everything, but is not seen. He knows the future and reveals it to mankind, for he is the never-ending Elohim. And there is no end to his presence, power, and truth. Whole worlds are full of his splendor. He gave each person free choice. If one person wants to do good, he will be helped, but if a person wants to do evil, he will find a way. As for us, we will worship our Elohim, who is our King, our Master, and our Savior, with love and awe. For your wisdom begins with the fear of Yahuwah, and if you truly understand him, you will depart from evil. Remember and obey the law of Moses, the man of Elohim, so that you will live a blessed life all of your days. Ask your fathers, and they will teach you, ask your elders, and they will instruct you. Do not just listen to the law, but be strong and valiant to obey all of it. Hearing is like the seed, but a deed shows that the seed has taken root in you. It then becomes a tree of belief, which produces the fruit of true righteousness. What becomes of a smelly rotten seed if no root will come out of it? So hurry. Be quick to hear and act. For if you are a true seed, if you have belief and righteousness, then Yahuwah will bless you all with peace. Live in peace with each other. Love the deeds, and those created in the image of Yahuwah like your own selves. Because it is a sign that you love the Creator if you love His creation. You cannot take hold of the one but withdraw your hand from the other. Love Yahuwah and also man so that it will be well with you all the days of your life. David's closing prayer. David raised his voice and lifted his hands toward heaven and said, O sovereign Yahuwah, the Elohim of the spirits of all flesh. Elohim merciful and favorable, guard Yashar'al forever. Save your people and bless your inheritance, and tend to them, and uphold them forever. And all the people called out, So be it, so be it. And David sent the people away, and they went home peacefully. Chapter 9. King Hiram of Tyre. Hiram king of Tyre sent messengers unto David, saying, I know that Yahuwah your Elohim is the one true Elohim. So now deal with me as a true brother and teach me the law of your Elohim, for I will worship him all the days of my life. Then the messengers came to David with an offering in their hands for Yahuwah and for David. They told him everything that Hiram had said, and presented him with the offerings. And David replied to Hiram, Go and tell my brother Hiram, this is what David your brother says, Reverence Yahuwah, creator of heaven and fire, the sea and the earth, the wet and the dry, the heat and the cold, the mineral and the vegetation, the living and the speaking, the planets, the Pleiades and Orion, the sun and the moon, the substantial and the spiritual, the wandering stars, the senses and everything. These were all created without a blemish by the Almighty, whose name is Yahuwah. If you do this and observe the commandments that were ordered to the children of Noah your father, then Elohim will bless you all the days of your life. We are both his allies, but we are different from you by the law of truth, sealed by the seal of the Almighty, called children of the true Elohim. We must therefore obey the whole law that Hashem commands of us, saying, And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an set apart nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Yashar'al. Exodus chapter 19 verse 6. But he has not dealt the same way with any other nation as he has with us. He did not choose us for any other reason than the great love that he has for us. The messengers then returned to Hiram their king and told him everything that King David had told them. And Hiram rejoiced with all his heart, and called all his princes and servants and said to them, Tyrians and Sidonians, listen carefully to what I am about to tell you. Have reverence and respect for the Almighty, who is the Elohim of Yashar'al. He made everything by speaking and by the breath of his mouth, and who will tell him what he can do? For he is one. Repeat after me, Baruch is Yahuwah Elohim of Yashar'al, who chooses his people. And blessed is David, his servant, king of his people, and blessed is Yashar'al, whom Yahuwah has chosen to be his inheritance. We would be blessed to simply be the servants of the children of Yashar'al that are called children of Yahuwah, their Elohim. And all his princes and his servants replied, So be it, may it be so. And Hiram lifted up his voice and said, I have seen, but not now, I have beheld, but not nigh. There shall step forth a son from David, and a moon shall rise out of the house of Judah, and shall smite all the children of Ham, and break down all the children of Japheth, and he will possess all the kingdoms of the world. Variant of Numbers chapter 24 verses 17 to 18. And who is like Yahuwah, the Almighty above almighty ones? And who is like Yashar'al, a people above the nations? May our end be like theirs. When Yahuwah heard what Hiram had said, he was very pleased with him. And Yahuwah said unto Gad, the seer of David, Go unto my servant, and tell him the message that I gave you. And Gad, the one in whose hand was the word of Yahuwah, came to David and said, Thus says Yahuwah Elohim of hosts. I have heard what Hiram king of Tyre has said, and what his princes and servants have said, and I am very pleased. Therefore I will give him and his people a heart of wisdom and understanding to prepare my house where I shall put my name. And that will cause his kingdom to grow, for I have chosen them, and will not reject them. And David said to Gad, Now I know that Yahuwah our Elohim rewards all his creatures, and all the works he has created with goodness. Because he is Elohim of mercy, who dwells on high and looks after the lowly, and whoever is banished will not remain an outcast from him. Blessed be Yahuwah forever. So be it, and so be it. For as the heavens is high above the earth, so great is his mercy toward them that fear him and towards his works. Blessed Yahuwah, all you his works in all his places of his dominion. Bless Yahuwah, O my soul. Hallelujah. Chapter 10. Psalms 145. At that time David wrote this psalm of praise, I will exalt you, my Elohim, O King, and I will bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you, and I will praise your name forever and ever. Great is Yahuwah and greatly to be praised. And his greatness is unsearchable. Generation after generation shall praise your works, and shall declare your mighty acts. The esteemed splendor of your majesty, and your wondrous works, I will declare. And men shall speak of the might of your awesome works, and I will declare your greatness. They shall abundantly express the memory of your goodness, and they shall sing of your righteousness. Yahuwah is favorable and full of compassion, slow to anger, and great in mercy. Yahuwah is good to all, and his tender mercies are over all his works. All your works shall thank you, O Yahuwah, and your saints bless you. They shall speak of the splendor of your kingdom, and talk of your power, to make known to the sons of men his mighty acts, and the esteemed majesty of his kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures through all generations. All your enemies have fallen, O Yahuwah, and all of their might has come to naught. Yahuwah sustains all those who fall and raises up all those who are bowed down. The eyes of all wait upon you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hands, and satisfy the desire of every living thing with favor. Yahuwah is righteous in all his ways, and set apart in all his works. Yahuwah is near to all who call upon him, to all that call upon him in truth. He will grant the desire of them that fear him. And he will also hear their prayer, and save them. Yahuwah preserves all them that love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth shall speak the praise of Yahuwah, and let all flesh bless his set-apart name forever and ever. Chapter 11. Psalms 144. The Psalm of David praising Yahuwah on the day when Elhanan the son of Joer slew Lami the brother of Goliath the Gittite. And Jonathan the son of Shimea killed a man of great stature, saying, Blessed be Yahuwah my rock, who instructs my hands for war, and my fingers for battle. My mercy, and my fortress, my high tower, and my deliverer. My protector, and he in whom I take refuge, who subdues people under me. O Yahuwah, what is man that you take knowledge of him? Or the son of man that you make account of him? Man is like unto a breath, his days are as a shadow that passes away. O Yahuwah, bow your heaven and come down, touch the mountains so that they smoke. Send lightning and scatter them, shoot out your arrows, and destroy them. Send forth your hand from above, deliver me, and deliver me out of many waters, out of the hand of foreigners, whose mouths speak falsehood, and whose right hand is a right hand of lying. O Elohim, I will sing to you a new song, I will sing praise to you on a psaltery of 10 strings. Who gives salvation to kings, who rescues your servant David from an evil sword. Rescue me, and deliver me from the hand of foreigners, whose mouths speak lies, and whose right hand is a right hand of falsehood. May our children be as plants, grown up in their youth, may our daughters be cornerstones, hewn like the form of the temple. May our garners be full, affording all manner of store. May our sheep increase by thousands and 10,000s in our markets. May our oxen be strong to labor, no breaking in, nor going out, no complaining in our streets. Happy is the people that is in such a case. Happy is the people whose Elohim is Yahuwah. Happy is he who waits until there will be good to all Yashar'al forever. Chapter 12. David's death. David addressed Yahuwah and all of Yashar'al shortly before his death. David said, "Our blessed Elohim, who is great, the only one, guileless, righteous, avenger and benefactor of the miserable, beloved our Father, the Almighty, set apart one, have mercy upon the vine, your good inheritance. Answer us this very day as we call upon you. My sovereign, hear my prayer and supplication, for you hear prayers of all people. Listen and accept the cry of your people, for they are your flock and your inheritance. Send your light and truth to help them. Give them one heart to worship you, one shoulder to serve, as one body, so they will be one in your hand. And do not lose any of them, for your name is to be one, as our fathers and mothers are one. For that, hear, O Yashar'al, Yahuwah is our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Do not turn unto the idols, for they are false, and will completely pass away. Cling only unto your Elohim, for only he can be your avenger and fortress. Only he can defeat your spiritual enemies and physical enemies and put them under your feet. Only he can bring you into the new Jerusalem of the future, where you will see him face to face, and be in the presence of the living Elohim that is seen face to face. And you are one people. If you grow in belief, you will be filled with gates of intelligence. Blessed is the eye that has seen all these things. But if you grow in unbelief, you will reach gates of impurity. So then cleanse and purify yourself before Yahuwah, your king, and it will be well with you all the days of your life." And David died in the afternoon on the Sabbath day, in the 40th year of his reign over Judah and Yashar'al. He was 70 years old when he died, and he was buried with great honor in the city of David. And the rest of the deeds of King David during his mighty reign, and the events that befell him, Yashar'al, and all the kingdoms of the countries, behold, they are written in the book of Samuel the seer, and in the book of Nathan the prophet. Chapter 13. Tamar. Solomon was able to strengthen his kingdom, because Yahuwah his Elohim was with him and greatly magnified him. Later, David's daughter, Tamar, sister of Absalom, fled to the house of the king of Geshur. And she spent 1 year and 8 months in her mother's home, which is in the king's palace. And King Solomon did not know that she left, because she went secretly, and she concealed her going not only from the king, but all the people as well. And King Solomon said, "I shall pay a reward of royal clothes plus 50 shekels of gold to whoever finds Tamar the sister of my father, and brings her to me." And the king's servants searched for her throughout all the land of Yashar'al, but they could not find her. And she was hiding at her mother's home in Geshur, at her grandfather's the king palace. And there was a friend of the king, whose name was Persians, and he lusted after the young woman very much, for she was very beautiful and fair to look upon. In those days the king of Geshur went to see King Solomon, as all the kings of the land are required to do. King Solomon asked him, saying, "Is it well with you?" And he said, "It is well." And he said, "Is it well with Markah, Tamar's mother, in your house?" And he said, "It is well." And then King Solomon cunningly asked, "Is it well with Tamar my sister?" And he lied to him, saying, "I do not know, for I have never met her." And it came to pass, when the king of Geshur was in Jerusalem, his friend Persians came to Tamar's room, saying to her, "Lie with me." But Tamar refused him, saying, "Let us not, my master, do not do this indecent thing to me, because I am a king's daughter." However, he would not listen to her, because he was burning with lust. And Tamar knew she was no match for this man, so she cunningly said, "My master, listen to the words of your maidservant. Behold, I play the harp beautifully. First, lie down at my knees and listen to my song. And after I play the song of my heart, then I will do all your heart's desire." And Persians listened to Tamar, and he lay in her bosom. And as Tamar took the harp and began to play beautifully, she said in her heart, "Yahuwah, king of my father David, your servant, Send your light and truth to hold me, and do not allow this wicked, uncircumcised, impure man to have his way with me. For you know what is in my heart, so do not let this daughter of David, your servant, sin. My father, my father, my father, remember the dishonor of your servant David, my father, and your daughter's dishonor. I go before the Almighty's throne of splendor, and ask mercy for myself, to the Elohim of hosts to help me by his help. For he does not want wicked men to triumph, and his desire is to help those who have been robbed to overcome the strong. I beseech you, O Yahuwah, save me now. I beseech you, O Yahuwah, let me prosper. I call on you this day because I am frightened. Please answer me, and do not let this impure man cause me to lose set-apart seed by this impure act, for you are a set-apart Elohim, and I trust you. And Yahuwah heard the voice of David's daughter, and Elohim caused Persians to fall into a deep sleep. He fell asleep on her bosom, while she was playing the relaxing sounds of the harp. And when Tamar saw that he had fallen asleep, she unsheathed the sword that was girded around his waist. And she said, Yahuwah of hosts, remember David my father, and sustain me with your strength like you did my father. Help me as you helped Jael the wife of Heber the Kenite, to rid sins and sinners from the earth, so all will know that you are the only sovereign. And she took the sword and ran it through Pershaz's heart, and Persians fell to the ground dead. And Tamar saw that Persians was dead, and she cried with a loud voice, May all your enemies and the enemies of your people perish this way, O Yahuwah. And now I have seen that you have heard my voice because of my father. You have intervened to not allow his daughter to be dishonored by this impure man. Blessed are you from everlasting to everlasting. So be it. At the time of the noon meal, Pershaz's servants came to call their master to the king's table. When they came to the inner chamber, they found Tamar with his bloody sword in her hand standing over the dead body of their master Persians. And they turned trembling to one another, saying, What happened? And they took Tamar into custody and brought her to the king's ministers. And the king's servants said to Tamar, What have you done? You have killed the king's friend. You know that our master, the king, will consider this a dishonor. And Tamar said, Should one deal with a king's daughter like a harlot? His blood is upon his own head, and I will be seen as guiltless and pure in the king's eyes. And they took Tamar, and put her in the hands of the warden of the prison. And they sent a letter to their king who was still in Jerusalem, by the hands of the couriers. That Tamar, the king's granddaughter, had killed his friend Persians, and that Tamar was sent to prison until the time the king returned. And the couriers came to Jerusalem, and King Solomon's guard stopped them. And he asked them, Where are you from? And they said, We come from Yashar'al to bring letters to our master the king. And the guard seized them, and brought them to King Solomon. And King Solomon said, You came here to spy out the land. Give me your king's letters, and I will see if you are sinning against me or not. And King Solomon took the letters and gave them to the sons of Shisha, the king's scribes, to read. And they read through them, and found where Tamar had killed Persians, and that she was in prison. And King Solomon called Yashar'al, who was head of the household, and said, Put these uncircumcised men in jail, and bring the king of Yashar'al to me. And he did exactly as he had been commanded. And the king of Yashar'al was brought before King Solomon, and he bowed his head toward the ground. And King Solomon said, Why have you deceived me, lying, while Tamar my sister was with you? You told me that you had never met her in your entire life. As Yahuwah lives, who has redeemed David my father, out of all evil this very day you will die. And King Solomon called Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and said to him, Go, and execute the king of Yashar'al and his couriers. And he executed them, and they all died, because they had lied to King Solomon. And they buried them in a cave right before the fish gate. This is why the name of the cave right before the fish gate is the called cave of the uncircumcised ones unto this day. And Solomon sent Benaiah, the son of Jehoiada, and 10,000 valiant men of Judah with him, and he said to them, Go to Yashar'al and bring back Tamar, my father's daughter, with you, and destroy the royal palace, but be careful not to harm Tamar's mother, for she was King David's wife. And they went and did all that King Solomon had commanded, and they brought Tamar before King Solomon. And Tamar bowed down to the ground before the king and said, "Let my master the king, my brother, live forever." And King Solomon asked her, "Why did you flee to Jeshurun?" And she answered, "I was living in my brother Absalom's home, dishonored because of what my brother Amnon had done to me, and I decided to go to my mother's house so I would not be dishonored in the eyes of the princes there." And King Solomon asked her, "Why did you kill Persians?" And she answered, "This is what that uncircumcised one did to me, and this is what I did to him in revenge." And King Solomon said, "Yahuwah has truly blessed you with discretion. You were wise, and acted, and you were victorious." Then King Solomon spoke openly to all of his servants, saying, "Has anyone found such a charming and heroic woman?" And he said, "Daughter Elahim is favorable unto you. From this day forward you shall not be called my sister, but my daughter, because you were extremely wise." And King Solomon gave his daughter Tamar to Abinadab's son to be his wife, and she found favor in her husband's eyes, and he loved her very much. He was an officer over all the region of Dor. And King Solomon renamed Tamar his daughter Taphoth, for stacked, the first of the incense, and this was her name the rest of her life. Chapter 14. The Great Tribulation. And it came to pass on the first day of the 7th month, in the 478th year after the children of Yashar'al came out of the land of Egypt in the 2nd year of King Solomon's reign over Yashar'al, I had a vision from Yahuwah when I was upon the Gihon spring. And I raised my eyes, and lo, the heavens rolled back like a scroll, and I saw the splendor of Yahuwah, sitting on an extremely high throne. And here is the appearance of the throne. 12 stairs led up to the throne, 6 of gold and 6 of silver, and there was a square back to the throne, like a sapphire stone. And at its right side were 3 chairs, and at its left side were 4 chairs near the throne, like the 7 that see the king's face, covered with gold and silver and precious stones. And the splendor of Yahuwah had the appearance like that of the rainbow, his covenant. And the host of heaven were standing before him on his right hand and on his left, and Satan was standing by them, but behind them the books. And then a man dressed in linen brought before the splendor of Yahuwah 3 books that contained the records of every man. And he read the first book, and it contained the righteous deeds of his people, and Yahuwah said, "These are granted eternal life." And Satan said, "Who are these guilty people?" And the man dressed in linen cried to Satan like a ram's horn, saying, "Silence. This day is set apart to our sovereign." And he read the second book, and it contained the unintentional sins of his people, and Yahuwah said, "Put that book aside, but save it until 1/3 of the month passes by, to see what they will do." And he read the third book, and it contained the wicked deeds of his people. And Yahuwah said to Satan, "These are your share. Take them, and do what you want with them." And Satan took the wicked to a waste land to destroy them there. And the man dressed in linen cried like a ram's horn, saying, "Blessed are the people who know the joyful shout, O Yahuwah, who walk in the light of your countenance." The millennial reign. And I heard the voice of the host of heaven rejoicing and saying, "Master of justice, Yahuwah of hosts, the whole heaven and earth is full of your splendor." And I was shocked by the vision, since I did not know what Yahuwah had done for me. Then one of the cherubs flew up to me, and he put an olive leaf on my mouth, and said, "Lo, this has touched your mouth, and your iniquity is taken away, and your sin forgiven. And this law that you have seen is a statute for Yashar'al, and a law to the Elahim of Abraham, and peace unto Isaac your father. And Yahuwah will bless your people in the trial with everlasting peace." And I said, "So be it. May Yahuwah our Elahim do this for us forever and ever." And the Malach answered, "So be it, and so be it." Here ends the writings of the ancient book of Gad the Seer. Blessed are they that submit themselves to the will of Yahuwah and guard it with all of their heart. For they shall see his face with joy and not in sorrow. Hallelujah.